Okay, so this one is going to be a little different. It's not my usual content type by any means whatsoever. This actually has to do more with something that happened with Mr. Beast. Or rather, the way people are being weird about it. Now, Mr. Beast is a person who I don't have a whole lot of respect for outside of his ability to grow a platform. I feel like he plays into all of the worst stereotypes of why capitalism is good, actually, because sometimes you can hand somebody $1 million when they win on a game show. Like, it's Jeopardy without any tact, functionally. But that aside, that's about the most I can say here. He made a post on Twitter asking people if you had the option to press a blue button or a red button, which would you press? The red button gives you a 100% chance of survival. But if you press the blue button, you might die. The parameters of which are such. If you press the red button, you always survive. But if more than 50% of the people pressing the button press the red button, then everybody who pressed blue dies. However, if people press blue, and it's over 50% of people press blue, then everybody lives. All of them live. Everybody, even the people who press red. So, the question becomes, which one do you press? Now, it's a really weird way to do Prisoner's Dilemma. Now, I would say that the argument is you press blue. I think that that's a pretty basic thing to argue because you cannot have 100% consensus on almost anything. So getting 100% consensus on red is likely not going to happen. So the choice to press red is a choice to kill some people. But if you choose blue, you can hedge that at least 50% might do it. If you hedge that, then everybody lives. All you need is at least half the people hedging. For everybody to survive in red, everyone must click red. For everybody to survive in blue, only half of the people need to click blue. Marcus says, I can maybe get it if the blue threshold was higher, maybe, but only 50%? No shot. Yeah, right. However, Twitter being Twitter, most of the people there are arguing that you should press red because they, I guess, lack any understanding of decision theory. And, like, I'm not a big-brained person. I don't have a lot of decision theory expertise, even though I argued with somebody who made decision and game theory their college thesis. I still stand by everything I said in that debate, by the way. That was years ago. Sora says, the question feel like it's designed to get red to win, but Jimmy Donaldson is kind of a dumbass. So the question... You're dealing with multiple people, lots and lots of people. And again, you cannot get 100% consensus on things, but you can get over 50%. Over 50% is likely. So it makes no sense to click red. Also, just as a by and large thing, if you look at it from the perspective of somebody who has any faith in their fellow man of any variety, then you would expect there to be more people who press blue. Now, every time this poll is done, blue generally always wins. Blue generally always wins. And there are some people that are having weird conspiracy brain rot over that, and it's super weird. Here's one of them. This person, do not go harass them. Do not go onto their page. They apparently get a lot of harassment from people who press blue somehow. So maybe don't do that. They said, I've been called a conspiracy theorist for noticing a discrepancy or issue with the polling. None of them are listening, even when shown directly the evidence. Okay, cool. So their evidence is an AI-generated image showing that the polls look similar. Okay. And then they've got this AI-generated image saying, the more blue tries to convince me that they're morally right, the more they look like this. Yeah, the people who click the button that statistically kills less people, if not no people, they are the morally right ones. That absolutely. That I'm sorry. I understand the want to hedge for red, but hedging for red is a stupid decision. Hedging for red annihilates at least 50% of the population, or at most 50% of the population. It can't go higher. It is a annihilation of at most 50% of the population. Blue is no annihilation of anybody. It's way simpler than these people want to make it out to be. It says, based on the first polling, I predicted that because blue won the first poll, any other poll should have more blue button pressers. Neither next two polls did that. Both are stuck at the exact same decimal point. I've posted images of the polls and have thus been called a conspiracy theorist, an R-slur, stupid, and just coping. It really doesn't work as insults when you prove yourself too stupid to actually look at the evidence right in front of you. These are high-trust blue people. I accidentally made this with AI. You didn't accidentally make anything with AI. You did it. All I said was I wanted a second part and accidentally pressed the enter, and AI worked with what little was there. So they wanted this they wanted it to have these here. Part 2, blue never loses. Part 3, blue never loses. Finally, you get to part 6. 6 straight wins. There's no way this is real. Something is going on. Always 57.9%. Investigating. Stand by. I just want fair polls. Grok, can you put a bikini on red? But I was intending to make this, though. And it was about the squirrels and kangaroos thing. Now, it's funny because their argument is that the decimal point thing is the thing that they are freaking out over more than anything, and that's apparently we can say that the blue people should die when you press the button because they got this weird conspiracy thing wrong. But, like, looking at this, one of the pieces of AI-generated evidence is 59.1 squirrels, 1 kangaroo. I feel like anybody who knows the difference between a squirrel and a kangaroo knows that you never win a fight against a kangaroo. With squirrels, you have options. A squirrel can be stepped on. A kangaroo cannot be stepped on. In 100% of scenarios where you are fighting a kangaroo, you die. In less than 100% of the scenarios where there are 25 squirrels, you might not die. Why aren't more people pressing the death button? Carrie Cherry says those add up to 101%. Of course they add up to 101%. It's AI generated. It doesn't know how to do things. It doesn't know how to do things well. Of course it's going to mess things up. So then another user looks at that poll and notices that it's 58 to 42, actually. It's a little concerning to pick squirrels. That's too much to handle at a time. I heard if you kiss a kangaroo on the nose, it'll be bewildered at the gesture and stop. I heard if you kiss a kangaroo on the nose, it might stop killing you. You understand that the minute a kangaroo jumps up and decides that its feet are going towards you, you die. You die. You are dead. Your chest is caved in. How are you going to kiss the kangaroo's nose when you are having, like, your fucking death rattle as your ribs crush everything inside you, and the only thing you can do is have a sucking wound wheezing? What? Yeah, if you're close up to kick the kangaroo, you're already dead. I do not believe that there's a lot of thinking that goes here. At all. The issue is that the evidence isn't a good representation of how people would actually decide. An online poll that has no stakes whatsoever is not going to be treated the same way as being told it was a real scenario, and that blue presses truly are at risk of dying. The poll results for this question are effectively meaningless. I wouldn't expect red to win for X polls. I wouldn't expect it to receive less than 80% of the presses in real life scenario. Right. So the difference here is that when we apply decision theory to a real life scenario that's actually happening, then we get to the prisoner's dilemma. Then we are in prisoner's dilemma territories, and now it is, I don't know if it's more likely that the people who are pressing red are going to press the red, but I think everybody pressing the red at that point is very self-interested and stupid, because you could just press blue and everybody lives. Like, everybody being given the information, if you press blue, everybody lives. Okay, cool, then just everybody press blue. That's very simple. Fucking hell. But it is ultimately a low-stakes thing, because you're not actually gonna die right now because you pressed the wrong button, unless, like, Jigsaw decides to make this one of his things later, or maybe he already did. I don't know. I haven't watched a Saw movie in a little while. Also, fun fact, if the polls are rigged and wonky, why are the numbers different now? There's even more people who are voting squirrels now. Marco says, let's be real here. The question being asked is, do you want to kill somebody, or do you want to save lives at the risk of your own? That's the question. It comes down to, are you a hyper-individualistic person, or do you have faith in humanity at large? Oh my god. People are overestimating the Roo and underestimating the squirrels. Roos are tough, but they're glass cannons. And there's only one of them. 25 squirrels, 25 of these swarming you, clinging to you, biting you all at once. That is a nightmare. You're right, but they are also glass cannons. You step on a squirrel, the squirrel ceases. You don't get, like, there are 0 scenarios you win in the kangaroo. The squirrels, you have a chance. Not surprising that Twitter users would press red, yes. There is one person here who's saying that, like, kangaroos, the squirrels can have rabies and other horrible diseases. Okay, so when you do a thought experiment, generally you work with the information in the thought experiment. If the information is 25 rabid squirrels, then the answer is you go with the kangaroo. Because rabies has a 100% kill count. There's only like 2 people who've ever survived rabies in the history of ever. So what are the squirrels are armed? Right, we can add any number of layers to the hypothetical to make it even more and more asinine, if we truly wanted to. If we really wanted to. I understand where you come from with red, but using the conspiracy brain to try to figure out why isn't the rest of humanity as horrible as I am is really strange to me. It's really awkward to me. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.